to the JKeSport Tier 2 Grand Prix Round 15 from the Silverstone circuit in Silverstone, England. It's a very technical, historic circuit today, one with a different challenge at every corner. A wide variety of straights, low, hard braking zones, and fast, wide open corners. Should be a fun challenge for our drivers tonight. Just getting set for overcast skies, but looks to be all clear for the moment. Got Miles in the chat. Good luck, everyone, and good luck to you as well. Should be a fun race tonight. Looks like we will have a bit of a wet start. Not sure exactly how much of the race that will take or what exactly we will have. But should be a fun one regardless. 26 laps is the race distance tonight. Looks like we have one of the Haas drivers going out first, and that is going to be K-Dog to kick off this qualifying session. Around the Silverstone circuit. Fairly straightforward with the strategy tonight, so we shouldn't see too many drivers elect to go for the mediums in this session. Although that is always a possibility. We see SC Smith has fitted the mediums. We've got Skadster out as well. He will be the second driver to set a lap time in this session. So the Silverstone circuit has hosted races ever since the opening season of F1 in 1950. Originally was a circuit that used the airport runways, hence the hangar straight that is approaching just after the legendary Maggots and Beckett section. Always been one of my favorite circuits on the calendar, and always produces some exciting racing, as we can see in real life as well. Few good overtaking spots. This one into Stowe, the most exciting of them being as it is a fast, high-speed corner. Potential for incidents through there. But as we wind through Sector 3, let's ride on board with K-Dog for her opening lap of the session, and let's take a lap of the Silverstone circuit. Opening, you want to get as much of an angle to the pit straight as possible. I believe this is now the Hamilton straight. Down up into turn 1, flat out, 8th gear. Take as much of the curve as you dare. Same for turn 2, then up to the first heavy braking zone at turn 3. Very tricky apex to nail, along with the loop corner, turn 4, another tricky apex. You want to get that right as it sets you up for the Wellington straight and the first DRS zone of the lap. Down to the one of the more exciting corners, the Brooklands and Luffield complex. The first left-hander of Brooklands, then the right-hander of Luffield. You want to actually miss the apex here and maximize your run down the old pit straight. Up towards the most exhilarating corner on the lap, Copse Corner. Should be flat out in qualifying in 8th gear. Very tricky to lose the car on exit. KL keeps it clean. Now into Maggots and Beckett's. Very easy to invalidate through here. It's all about maximizing your lap time through that section. Down onto the hangar straight up towards Stowe. Very fast corner, very easy to run wide and invalidate the whole lap. Keeps it nice and close, using up all the track into the Vale chicane and the club corner right at the end of the lap. Let's see what the opening banker time of this session is going to be. And it's going to be a 1:29.3 for K-Dog. Skadster is going to be next to Cross in his McLaren. And he's going to go with is next in the Haas, making his full-time debut tonight. It's been a reserve for a while, but has now got the full-time seat in the Haas, and he goes at 28.1 into second place. Mile comes across next to 28.3, lands him third on the timing sheets. SC Smith, he's just starting his, Shelley starting his opening lap. SC Smith on the mediums. Coming across the start line, and it's a 28.1, so that's not a bad time for the mediums. Silent Banshee up with a 28.2, so lots of drivers in that 21-28 range. I think that's Johnny going with the 28.3, so very close through the middle of the pack. Now, we should see everybody at least finish this session on the softs, because if we do have a wet start, indeed, that will be likely intermediate tires for everyone on the grid. Chris Money next in the other McLaren. Down through the final chicane. He's had some good results this season. He's had some issues recently. Let's see if he can get a good result today. He joins his McLaren teammate provisionally on the front row of the grid, so that is a very solid opening to the session. Monkey Mafia set to start lap. VTech finishing up. He's on the medium tire. We'll see what kind of pace he can get in with the alternate strategy. Through the final chicane and into club corner. And he goes 8th fastest, about 28.9. Oh, there's Mile. He's finishing up another lap. A little bit of a snap of oversteer through there, so that's not going to be what he wants. He's not able to improve. Shelly the Turtle is next. He's in the championship fight, and he goes second with a 27.8. That's a good time right there. Kraz starting a lap, as well as the Alfa Romeo of SO just behind. I think that's the Alpine. Is that Monkey Mafia who's... No, he's not. There's, someone's in the barrier. That is Kraz. He's gone off at turn 2. I think that's Farm Corner. That was a very tricky complex. Very easy to lose the car through there. Here's Spaceman to finish up a lap. He's gone for a double run on this set of soft tires. And he goes up to 11th fastest with a 29.4. So we should see Chris Money heading back into the pits. So that will be Monkey Mafia. He's invalidated. So we have VTech. If he is still pushing on this set of medium tires, and it does not look like he will be. So we'll ride along with somebody else. I think this is Krusty T in the other Mercedes. It's going to be the next driver across the line on a valid hot lap, I believe. VTech back in the pits, and it looks like Miles is going to stay out and finish this lap, so we'll take a look and see if we can catch the lap time. Oh, he's got a bit wide, and that's all it takes. And Krusty T is invalidated through Stowe as well. So track limits are going to be a bit of an issue around this circuit. Crowd is invalidated as well. Spaceman is as well. Here's Johnny, he's also invalidated, so lots of troubles with track limits early on in the session. Here's Esso, and he's invalidated as well. We'll find Shelly the Turtle. He's well down on his time. So we'll ride along with Monkey Mafia. We'll have to see what his Sector 2 split is. Can't quite tell if he's pushing at the moment. But we'll ride along through the Sector 2 split. Nikes and Beckett's. The G-force is very intense through that corner. We won't have a split delta because this will be his first lap, but we'll see what kind of time he can come across. Through the final chicane. It's a simple corner, but it's very easy to get wrong and lose the entire lap. Here's Monkey Mafia up to the line. It's a 28.3. So another driver in that low 128s range. Here's Mile. He's invalidated, so should be back into the pits for a new set of tires. Silent Banshee on an out lap. He had a good result in Canada a couple of weeks ago. Was on the podium there. He's going to be looking to follow that up. Here's Krusty T. He's managed to keep it clean so far. He must not have enough fuel as he's heading back into the pits. SC Smith on an out lap as well, and SO invalidated. So we'll find Ray, who's also invalidated. So we'll go back to K-Dog, who's making her next run of the session. Through Sector 2 now. Only a couple drivers into the 127 so far, but still track evolution and a lot of time left in this session. Here's K-Dog, her Sector 2 split. He's going to be almost half a second up through the first two sectors, so this could be a decent improvement. The very sticky, tricky Stowe corner. Keeps it clean through there. And around the final corner, oh, she's gone for a spin. That is exactly what I was saying a minute ago. Last corner looks tame, but it's enough to just derail your entire lap in one instant. And that is unfortunate. We'll go back to Silent Banshee, who's pushing on the lap at the moment. He's currently 7th on the timing charts. But he'll look to improve a bit on that. Does very well through Stowe. And through the final corner he goes, 3rd fastest with a 28.0, so that is a very good time. S.C. Smith is next, current championship leader. He's almost 6/10 up. This could be provisional pole for the Ferrari man, and it is a 27.3 by almost 4/10. That is a very good lap. Limchek is going to be the next driver on a hot lap. He's nearly even with his initial time through sector 1. Through the middle sector now, we'll see if he can gain. There's a lot of time to be gained through the S's if you can get them right. Lovely shot of the car flying through Maggots and Beckett's. And he's gained a whole 10th through there. We'll see if he can maintain that. It's a very tight group in the midfield right now. Only half a second separating 3rd from 9th. So every little 100th of a second is going to count. Here's Limchek into the final chicane. Using up all the track. And up to the line is up to 4th place. So another driver into the 127s. Which is a good lap time there. Although we have a few drivers, everybody else getting out for their outlaps. I think we have Shelley the Turtle, who's going to be the next driver. He's currently sitting in 3rd, half a second off of S.C. Smith's time. We'll see if he can make some of that up on this lap. We've got Skazzer just behind, who's also got in a very good time. But now if you look at that split, over half a second up, so he could be right on track for provisional pole. Can he keep it clean through Stowe? Using up all of the track, maximizing that lap time. Around the final corner. And it is a 27.1, a fantastic lap from Shelley the Turtle. Here's Scatcher to follow, and it's not an improvement, so he'll stay 3rd fastest. Miles across the start of the lap, as is Esso just behind, Krusty T as well. So everybody getting out for what should be their 3rd and possibly final run. Limchek, I believe, is coming in. Kraz has had an issue. He's apparently having some issues with his setup, so that is not going to be ideal for him. We'll try to find Chris Money, who is well down on his time. So we'll go along with Esso. He's yet to settle lap time, but he's shown some pace already this season. We'll have to see if he can get a clean lap in here with just over 4 minutes remaining. There's an awful lot of places to make up time around the circuit, but that also means there's a lot of places to lose time. Alternating between 7th and 8th. Oh, and he's managed to catch the car through there, and he's managed to save the lap time, but that's going to cost him quite a bit. He's at least going to get on the boards now, assuming he can keep it clean for the rest of the lap, but that was a big snap of oversteer through Copse. And that's just the nature of that corner. Too much steering lock, too much curb, not enough steering lock, any of those, and you'll find yourself in the barriers very easily. Looks to be a very clean finish to the lap for Esso. We'll have to see what his lap time will be. We've got Krusty T just behind, finishing up the lap. Does manage to keep it clean, and he goes 13th, so he had that wobble through Copse cost him dearly. Krusty is invalidated, so he'll have to go again. Here's VTEC on the soft tire now, nearly half a second up through the first 2 sectors. Let's see how much he can improve through here. Up to the line, and it is an improvement, but he does not gain any positions. K-Dog starting another lap. Let's see if she can make an improvement after that spin on the last lap. We've got Spaceman, he's invalidated, so he'll have to go again. Johnny on an outlap as well, and the rest of the field piling out of the pits. Silent Banshee is the lead of this group. We'll jump on board with K-Dog, who's running on her flying lap at the moment. Down the the Wellington Straight. Very clean through Aintree corner. Just about on edge through Cobbs. That was right on the edge of the track limits. We'll have to see what the sector split is through Maggots and Beckett's. And 7/10 up, so this could be a decent improvement. I don't know if it'll be enough. Crusty UT does put in a lap time that moves him up to 11th. As well as I think that is a Ray or Monkey Mafia is about to start a lap in the Alpine just ahead. Let's see what this lap time can do. She keeps it clean through there this time, and it's an improvement, but not quite enough. So Kraz starting a lap as well. Spaceman invalidated once again. Here's Johnny. He's kept it clean. He's a 10th up through the first sector. And he's 14th. So this could be an improvement. This could see him all the way up into the second row of the grid. See if he can maintain that time through the third sector. Looking very good so far. Through the final corner, up to the line. It is an improvement. It is third place. So that is a good lap there. Miles starting a lap just behind as well. As Scadster, he's going on a lap. Ray finishing or starting one as well. Then we've got Silent Banshee. So now here we go. The end of these final flying laps for these guys. Silent Banshee leads this group. S.E. Smith is behind, just about to start a lap with the Mercedes of Shelly the Turtle. So they'll be probably the last ones. Let's see what Banshee can do here, and he improves to 4th, so 27-7. Cross UT into the pits. Monkey Mafia will be the next to finish a lap. Up to the line, does not improve. He's not going to have enough time there to go again. Here's Kraz. Still yet to set a time. He's got some pace and he does get a time 28.8, so that's 13th place for Kraz. Here's Spaceman. A couple tenths up through the first two sectors, so some room for improvement here. Into the final chicane. Oh, a little bit of curve there, but he does improve up to 13th place, so that's a good lap there. Miles is next in the Ferrari. Over half a second up. Let's see if he can jump up some spots, and he does move up to 5th. That's a good lap there. Chris Skazzer is invalidated, so his session is over. Monkey Mafia invalidated as well. Ray, the only driver yet to set the time, but he's kept it clean. Oh, he runs a little bit deep into the Vale chicane. Let's see if he can, how far up the leaderboard he can jump. And he goes 11th fastest, so 28.4. That's a good time there. Silent Banshee is next. He's going to go into the pits. So S.E. Smith, does he have a crack at pole position? He needs to gain about 2 tenths. He's got Shelly the Turtle just behind. He might be able to jump him once again. Let's see. And it's not an improvement. Or it is an improvement, but it's not enough. Shelly the Turtle takes pole position by 2/100ths of a second. Unless Monkey Mafia, he cannot do anything about it. He's flying through the grass. But S.E. Smith improves, but not enough. But look at the gap from the front runners. 2/100ths of a second. This is going to be an epic battle between these two drivers and championship contenders. Taking a look at the standings, 44 points was the difference coming into this race. S.E. Smith had the advantage, so dueling in the championship and in the race tonight. They'll be right next to each other for the race start. And we do know weather is going to be a factor, but we don't know for how long. So, an exhilarating qualifying session. We'll take another look. Shelby the Turtle does land pole position just about over SC Smith. Johnny will start third alongside Silent Banshee, those two carrying over that fight from Canada. Miles up to 5th, making a good run in his Ferrari. Skadster is 6th, Limchek 7th, Chris Money 8th, Monkey Mafia 9th, and VTech rounds out the top 10. Then it's Ray, Krusty T, K-Dog, Spaceman, Kraz, and Esso to round out the field. So very competitive grid tonight. I think we're going to have an exciting race. Look at the gaps here, just 1/10 separating 3rd from 6th. It's a great circuit for it too, here in Silverstone. And we do have a bit of rain here in Silverstone. Does not look to be too heavy, but could still play a factor. I'm assuming it's going to be intermediate conditions, but it doesn't look very dark at all, so shouldn't be too far away from a crossover. And we do have the possibility of starting on the dries as well. I have seen dry tires in the wet weather, but it looks like the intermediate tires are out. You can see in the Mercedes garage there. So we'll head down to the grid for the formation lap tonight. We're getting all set, and we do have intermediate tires for this race. Shelly the Turtle on pole in his Mercedes. SC Smith 2nd. Johnny is 3rd. Silent Banshee 4th. And Mile 5th. Just running through the grid one more time here on the formation lap. Skadster is 6th. Limchek 7th. Chris Money 8th in the other McLaren. Monkey Mafia is 9th. VTech rounds out the top 10. Ray in 11th. And then Krusty T, K-Donk, Spaceman, Kraz, and Esso rounding out the grid. So once again, we have the two championship rivals at the front of the leaderboard tonight. Taking a look at the rest of the standings, we have Johnny and Monkey Mafia on level terms for 3rd place in the championship. So Monkey Mafia's got some ground to make up if he wants to close that gap. VTech as well, running 5th in the championship. He's had quite a few consistent drives this season. We'll see if he can follow that up with another one tonight. So it should be a fun one tonight. 26 laps here in the Silverstone circuit. Not sure again how long this weather will last, but that will just add another wrinkle of strategy into this race. You can see the umbrellas in the stands as the rain comes down here in Silverstone. But we're getting ready to come onto the grid. Who's going to have the advantage into turn 1? It's a very narrow turn 1 apex. Hopefully these guys can make it through without any issues. Will be the Mercedes versus Ferrari on the front row. Who's going to have the upper hand? The back of the grid is, and we should be all set to go for 26 laps. And here we go. One, two, three, 4, and 5 lights. And we're off here in Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Looks to be a good getaway from Shelly the Turtle, and he's going to hold off. Oh, that's a car off the wall. I think that's Limchek who's had an issue. Here comes Johnny around the outside. He's going to hold off third from Scatster. Here comes Mile around the outside. Scatster tries to get it down the inside of Silent Banshee. Banshee runs a little bit wide as well as Mile. S.C. Smith holding on to second. Scatster regaining a couple positions, but everybody all over the place on the start. Seems to be fairly clean, apart from Limchek, who's lost out massively. Scatster dropping out of 6th. Monkey Mafia already making up positions to 7th place. It's a tight midfield battle. You see Esso around the outside of Chris Money into Brooklyn's. Can he make it stick? He's not going to be able to, and now he's going to be under pressure from Kraz just behind. Through the left field corner, across to your T, looking for some room as well. We're jumping back up to the battle of the Alpines. Ray is on the back of Monkey Mafia. But he's not going to be close enough this time. Cop's a very dangerous corner to try to make a move, but things starting to settle down. Esso and Chris Money near to each other. And now the Alpines do swap around. Monkey Mafia dropping back into 8th position. P-Tech just behind as well. So both Haas drivers out the back after Limchek having that issue off the line. Looked like he just didn't get the grip and went off to the right-hand side of the track. Here's Mile up into 4th place. So that's a nice start for the Ferrari driver, and he's on the back of Johnny already. Trying to find his way through. Back down in the deep midfield. Kraz picking up a time penalty already. He was complaining earlier about his setup, claiming it was undrivable in this race. And now with the rain, it's going to be even more difficult, I believe. But we'll see what he can do. Back into the front of the field. Shelly has pulled out over a 1-second gap, which is going to be crucial around here. We'll have to see if these 3 behind him can close back up. As you see Miles taking a look. He's going to offset his line through here. See, he might be able to get a run down the Wellington straight, very close to the rear wing of that Williams. Limchek back into the pits. It's a long pit lane. So fixing that damage is going to cost him quite a bit of time. See Silent Banshee jumping into this battle as well. But they're all chasing Shelly the Turtle, who's opened up a nice gap to start off this race. Chris Money hanging on to 10th. He's got this little battle behind him with Esso and Kraz and Krusty T as well. But they started to fall off a bit from the top 9. We'll see if Banshee can find a way through. He had a bit of an interesting start. There was a few drivers all over. He's just ahead of Scadster behind in the McLaren. He's gaining a bit of time to there. Oh, he went a little bit wide. We'll have to see if Ray can capitalize in the Alpine. I think he's going to be a bit too far back. And of course, no DRS in the wet conditions, which is going to make things even more difficult. There's Esso nearing the back of Chris, but just not enough room to get through. And now you look. S.C. Smith starting to put a bit of a gap on this battle, and he might be able to hunt down Shelly the Turtle now. He's closed that gap once again. Spaceman in the pits, so he's having a bit of issues, as well as a 5-second penalty as well. And now Scadster and Ray are closing up on this battle as well, so we've got the front 2 pulling away a little bit, trying to set themselves up for the rest of this race. And then it's a dogfight behind that. John, who leads this group, goes all the way down through Monkey Mafia in 8th place. So we're tracking this rest of the field. Everything's starting to settle down just a bit. Everybody just biding their time, not trying to do anything too drastic. See this little 5-car train, they've started to pull away from Monkey Mafia, so Monkey Mafia maybe is starting to struggle a bit in these conditions. Ooh, Esso getting on. Oh, Chris Money, he's had a bit of an off, he's losing multiple positions here. They had just gone through the Maggots and Beckett section, so possibly struggling a bit through there, and he's dropped down to 12th, and now he's going to lose a place to Crush Your T. front wing seems to be okay. He does want to fight back the position, and he's going to take the defensive line of the chicane. Oh, very close through there. Oh, they're going to be side by side. The club, there's a little bit of contact. Crusty OT slides his way through. A very nice move in a very difficult part of the track. But he is up into 12th. We've got a yellow flag. Is that Chris Money having more issues? And yes, he's parked backwards at turn 4, that is. So it's been a bit of a difficult season for Chris, but he's going to be getting that going, and he'll be back in contention here. Right on the back of the other McLaren and Skadster. He might be lining up a room into down the DRS straight. Chris Money's still having a bit of issues trying to get the car back on track. I'll pick you up a time penalty, so it's going to start to come into play. So nothing really changing too much. Everybody's just holding out. Perhaps there's a dry portion coming soon, and these guys know there's no need to force anything in the tricky conditions. You see the gap, the top two have now pulled over 2 seconds to this group behind, which is going to be absolutely crucial for their race. And we have a full course safety car. What has happened there? Ooh, Kraz has gone to... And he's heading off at the final chicane, and he's been disqualified for going the wrong way. Not sure what exactly has happened there. So he's had a spin. Okay, I'm trying to even figure out where his car is oriented, but this changes things. So Monkey Mafia also picked up a drive-through through there, which is very unfortunate. So now we'll see if anybody makes the decision to go for any changes here. It still seems to be raining, but the clouds do seem to be breaking a little bit. And we know it's not going to last through the entirety of this session. So we'll have to see if anybody elects for alternate strategy or some fresh tires. The field is still pretty close together, so it would be quite a risk. Well, it could work. Here come the leaders up towards the pit lane. Looks like most of them will be staying out as we expected. I won't be surprised if we see someone towards the lower midfield take a chance for some fresh tires. Doesn't look like anybody will be for the moment. And there's Crusty OT. Yep, he's only going to lose 1 or 2 spaces. And he'll be in for a fresh set of... Oh, and actually, we're taking a look. It's drying up here. You can see the rain has stopped falling. So could Crusty OT pull off the masterclass here? Now, it's going to take a while for it to dry out, but you can see the rain has stopped falling. And let's see. And he has gone for a set of soft tires. So the rain has stopped to fall. And now this is going to be genius for Crusty OT. The rest of the pack is going to be put under the safety car delta here. And he's going to be able to join right back up. I imagine we'll see the rest of the field in before we even get back underway. This is the same situation we had in France a few weeks ago. And we'll have to see if Spaceman looks to do the same. You can see the track is still very slick, and he's going to stay out for now. So yeah, you can see there's still quite a bit of spray coming up. You can see not a lot of grip on those softs, but with this safety car, this could change things. We'll just have to keep an eye on Crusty OT, but yeah, it's definitely too early now. Lim check is in. We'll see if he elects for a set of softs as well. We might see him do that just because he's got not much to lose for now. And he looks to be going for another set of intermediates. Yeah, it does seem to be a bit too early for the dry tires, but it's definitely not far away. Look, the spray is almost all died down. S.C. Smith, he thought about going in. VTEC is going in, so he's probably going to be taking a chance onto the soft tires. I think everybody else has stayed out. We'll see what Crusher T's grip looks like as he goes through Stowe. You can see it's improving a little bit, but he still had to go all the way down to third gear to even make it through the corner. Interesting to note, the Crusher T went on to softs as well. You'd expect mediums, and that's what VTEC is doing here, because then you can take those to the end, and you're not going to want to make more pit stops than you have to. Spaceman is in as well, and with the field spread at the moment, I think by the time we get back underway, the intermediate tires are going to be the better condition, or are not going to be the better condition, so Crusher T and VTEC might have the strategic advantage of Spaceman taking advantage as well. And he's going to be able to serve that 5-second penalty he picked up earlier, so that factoring in as well. So a lot changed already with a safety car that has come out at quite an interesting time. Spaceman going on to the hard, so he's committing to taking these tires to the end, which is a good strategy around here. This is not a place you want to be making more stops than you have to. You can see the track still seems to be a bit damp for the time being. And this is going to make it even more difficult for Shelly the Turtle. He's not going to have the advantage of seeing what everybody else does ahead of him. See, Limchek is in as well, presumably for another set of softs, or mediums. And he's going for softs, so him and Crusty T not trusting those mediums to take it to the end from here. Which is not a sure thing, but tire wear is not particularly rough around this circuit. Is that the safety car heading in? No, it does not look to be. So, again, we'll see if anybody takes another bite of the cherry this time. Shelly's going to stay out. S.C. Smith feints once again. I'm surprised we haven't seen more drivers take a risk. You can see the track has started to dry up quite a bit. And VTEC is back in, which is interesting. He had just gone in for that set of mediums. What is that? Limchek has gone off, so maybe it isn't time for the dry tires. VTEC getting a wing change, so these guys not having the greatest luck with the dries, but I mean the track does seem to be getting better, but this has got to be very difficult right now. I would not want to be in their position having to make this call. Every lap we sit behind the safety car while we wait for the rest of the field to catch up is another lap where the intermediates are not going to be the best strategy. Because the track is only going to be getting drier. So we've had the safety car out for, I believe, 3 laps now. So it should be in either this lap or next lap, regardless if the field has caught up. Limchek out of the session. So he's gone for a spin at the exit of Stowe. So maybe it is too early for the dry tires. It's so hard to tell for now. But that is unfortunate. He hadn't been having the best start to the race. Looks like the safety car will be in this lap, so Crusher T going off. So Another driver on dry tires having issues. See everybody trying to get as much heat as possible into those intermediates. But soon they're going to struggle with trying to keep them cool, because if this track continues to dry up, it's only going to be more difficult on that set of wet tires. But let's see. Everybody's going to stay out once again. So we'll get back to the leaders for this restart. And Monkey Mafia is into the pits now. So he's going for a bit of a strategy change, but it's a good restart from Shelly. And he's going to get away fairly well. Back to Silent Banshee, right on the back of the Ferrari. And look at the spray. The spray seems to be fairly significant through there. And Spaceman has gone for a spin on that set of hards, so the hards is not particularly great in the wet conditions. The track seems to be very wet through this opening section of the lap, which is very interesting. You can see the dry runners have lost significant time. So maybe it was a good call for everybody to stay out. And now we're back with a similar situation to what we were before the restart. The top two have broken away. Then there's a bit of a gap behind. Crusty T has gone for another spin. So although the track is looking a lot drier, it definitely still seems like intermediates. Chris Money is close up to the back of K-Dog, but he's not going to be enough to get through. Silent Banshee and Mile, they were very close through that left field corner. Monkey Mafia spun as well. So the dry tire is not looking like the call, at least for the time being. Which is only going to favor these top 10. You can see they've already put almost a pit stop gap on the rest of the field. I see Smith is closer than he's ever been to Shelley for this race. Ray and Scadster as well fighting for 6th place. Close enough. Silent Banshee has been right on the back of these two ahead for a long time. There's Monkey Mafia going for another spin. So I'm surprised that the track has taken so long to dry out. But that just only adds another wrinkle of strategy. Still a long way to go in this race, though. Still a lot can change. S.C. Smith, he's maintaining within that 1 second gap from the race leader Shelley ahead. Just as I said, it's now dropping back a little bit. Let's see if Banshee, he's got a good run down the Wellington straight. Let's see if he can make a move. Without the DRS, he's just not going to be close enough this time. He's going to have to sit behind again. Oh, Scatster looking to the outside, or Ray looking to the outside of Scatster. Not enough room. Mile running a bit deep. Let's see if he can get the grip on exit. I think he's going to be able to. But Ray has a chance at Scatster. This is a very tricky portion of the track to pass. Can he make it stick? Side by side into cops. Nobody's going to back out. They're going to go for it. And they're going to make it through. Side by side still. And Ray manages to pull ahead into 6th. Monkey Mafia out of the session into the pits. So made the mistake on the strategy. And that is unfortunate. Now Banshee gets a great run out of the chapel corner. But he just doesn't have the straight line speed. And Mile hangs on once again. Crusty T going for another spin. He's still committed to that soft strategy, which I think is the way to go, as much as it's going to be tricky for the moment. So this is a fantastic battle for 3rd place as well. And we've got Scatster into the pits. So maybe now is the time. Because it's not going to stay intermediate forever. Especially once the dry line starts to form. S.C. Smith within half a second now. And we should see DRS enabled within the few laps. There's Scatster fitting the medium tires. So we'll have to see if that triggers anyone else to take a chance. S.C. Smith is not going to be close enough this time. Banshee has been close lap after lap, but just not enough to make a move on Mile. And Ray did clear Scatster and he's joined that fight as well. There's a little bit of a gap behind. These guys are all fighting for 3rd. Oh, a little bit of contact through there. Banshee had to back out of that move. He's been chomping at the bit for the last few laps, but just hasn't had the space to get through. And now Ray is going to play a factor in this four-way fight for 3rd. I imagine once DRS will be enabled in a few laps, we should see these positions swapping hands quite a bit more. We're looking at Scatster. He's still losing time on the medium, so it's still not quite at that crossover point. Here's Banshee. He's not got enough straight line speed in that Red Bull to have a run at mile, so he's just biding his time in 5th for the moment, having to take a defensive line on Ray behind, which is not going to be ideal. Nearing the halfway point of this race, still on the intermediate conditions. When Banshee thought about it, he makes a bit of a mistake. Here comes Ray trying to go around the outside in towards turn 3. He's going to have the inside before the braking zone. Ever so close through the apex. They make it through, and now Banshee has the advantage once again. Gives him just enough room. Lovely racing between these two. Banshee hangs on for the time being. That is fantastic battle right there. But that has allowed Mile to clear the gap. Oh, Ray looking to the inside once again into Brooklyn's. He's going to have to back out of that. A fantastic scrap between these two drivers. Miles has not been able to pull away, so Miles seems to be struggling through the high downforce sections of the track. Here's Banshee taking defensive line into Cops. Ray looking around the outside. Oh, there's a little bit of a touch. That is a tricky spot to get 2 cars through. Crosshair T back into the pits. We'll have to see if he goes for intermediates, but now we see DRS has been enabled. So will we see the leaders in this time? SC Smith is going to have... He's not going to have DRS. They were just past the... He will have DRS, actually. And now he's got the advantage of being able to follow whatever Shelley does ahead. I imagine we'll see them both into the pits. And yes, they will. Everybody should cycle through side by side. Are they both going to try to... No, Banshee's going to stay out. Ever so close. I was expecting to see them both try to fit into the pit lane. But there's Ray staying out as well. So I imagine we'll see soft tires for these guys. It's actually mediums for the Mercedes of Shelley. But we're tracking back to what is now the battle for the lead. Banshee versus Ray. Banshee was side by side with the Ferrari of Ray, or of Mile, coming out of the exit of Stowe, and I thought that was gonna be a nasty collision. But everybody electing for the medium tires. Unsurprisingly, Shelley does have the advantage. And we'll have to keep an eye on that gap. It's a very long pit lane around here. These guys have cleared this battle behind. So 24.5 seconds is the gap to Ray and Banshee, who have stayed out. And again, we're just tracking the deltas. You can see the intermediates still seem to be a bit quicker for the time being. But we'll have to see if that changes. Oh, and as that's K-Dog who's going off at turn 3. That's a tricky section of the track in the dry, much less in the wet. So we'll have to see the leaders. I imagine we'll see them in this time. Although they haven't really given up too much time on the Delta. But with DRS being enabled, I'm sure they'll want to take advantage as quickly as possible. Banshee goes wide, picks up Tony. Yep, they'll both be in. The other thing to consider, they may now be able to stretch this to a soft stint. Which I'm surprised we didn't see anybody else elect the soft tires. But here's SC Smith. He's now 3 seconds off the Mercedes of Shelley. So he's lost a bit of time in the pits. But there's Mile. He's dropped all the way down to 7th. Within a second of Esso just ahead. So everybody now on the mediums in the top 11. Nobody trusting the soft tires. I imagine we'll see. I think the leaders are going to have these guys pretty clearly. Shelley will at least regain the lead. But you can see SC Smith is going to come out side by side with Ray. This is not going to be what he wants. Banshee has jumped up into 2nd place. So the overcut working to the advantage of the Red Bull driver. That's surprising. You usually don't see that in these types of changeable conditions. Usually the undercut is the way to go, but not today. And now Johnny's on the back as SC Smith as well. He's a bit too far back to make a move, but this is not what Smith wants. This is a massive opportunity for Shelley to make up ground, not only in this race, but also in the championship. And now there's going to be a start of a DRS train, which is going to provide some exciting battling. I see Smith not quite close enough to Ray. Let's see if they can have a crack at Silent Banshee down the hangar straight. Ray has also played the strategy well, and he's up into a podium position at the moment, along with that penalty to Silent Banshee. Let's see DRS wide open. He's closing. He's going to look to the outside. It's a tricky spot. Oh, there's more contact. And Ray's going to go well wide. Smith is going to take advantage. Johnny's going to take advantage. Here's Esso. Are they going to make it stick? Johnny gives him a little bit of room, probably too much room, and now Esso's going to make an opportunistic move around the outside, and Johnny's gone for a spin. Not sure what happened there, but there was a lot of cars trying to take advantage of all the space they could, and now Johnny's dropped down to 9th place. I see Smith all of a sudden finds himself back in 3rd, and he might have a chance at Banshee here for 2nd. He's just about within the DRS, and Ray, he's hanging on as well. He lost a bit of time making that contact through Stowe, but he's still well within range. I see Smith, he's just about trying to stick within the DRS. He's going to want to do that, otherwise he'll fall under threat to Ray behind, and that's not what he wants. Not at this stage of the race. We're tracking Mile as well. He's on the back of Esso. He had a good run through the start of Magazine Brackets, but he's dropped off a bit now. Nobody's going to be close enough to take advantage of the DRS and down towards Stowe. This is the 5-car battle for 2nd place at the moment. Ray having the advantage of being the only one without penalties. Scouts are picking up another one as well. But S.E. Smith seemingly not having the pace for at the moment to overtake Banshee, and he's flirting with the edge of DRS range, but he's just about going to be within it. But again, the dreaded DRS train not allowing anybody to make any sort of progress. Shelley the Turtle picking up his first time penalty. That is crucial. Approaching 10 laps to go in this Grand Prix. Still a long way to go and potential for still another safety car. We'll have to see if anybody will be close enough this time. It's a lot of it will come down to how well you can take the exit of Chapel Curve, which is the final one of these S's. Not sure if anyone's going to be close enough once again. You see the ghost of the AI car of Krusty and T. Well, they stay as they are for the time being. Although Shelley, he keeps putting in fastest lap after fastest lap, but that gap is not particularly... So you can see the track has just started to draw out significantly as everybody behind putting in their fastest lap as they came across. But the gap is maintaining at about 5 seconds between Shelley and Banshee behind. And that is also dragging the rest of these guys into that battle for the lead. Shelley's just got to keep doing his thing and maintaining comfortable. That's got to be frustrating sitting in these DRS trains knowing... Oh, Mile going very deep into Brooklands. Nearly ran into the back of Esso. Managed to keep it on track though. But it is one of the most frustrating things as a driver to be stuck in one of these DRS trains, not being able to make any sort of progress. Especially for SC Smith, knowing his championship rival Shelly the Turtle is out ahead in clean air. This five-way fight for second, the closest battle on track. Everybody else has started to open up the field a little bit as we approach the business end of this Grand Prix. SC Smith, he does well towards the end of the lap, but he's not been fast in the right areas to be able to get past Banshee. And you can see the track evolution playing a huge factor for the moment. And there's a yellow flag, and that's one of the McLarens has gone off. That's Skadster. He's managed to get it back going there, so shouldn't have too much of an impact on the rest of the field. Everybody trying to just play this tactically, lining things up. Banshee doing a very nice job hanging on to second place, considering he's the only one of this battle without DRS. But that spin from Skadster has now brought him into the clutches of Johnny behind. This is the battle for 8th position. We'll see if Johnny can keep pace. Everybody on similar tires at the moment. Oh, now Esso's had a bit of an issue, and he's dropped out of DRS range from the guys ahead. This is going to give Mile the opportunity to pass up the inside of Stowe. And he's going to have that move done. And now this has split that 5-way battle into 2 separate battles. Banshee, Smith, and Ray fighting for the final 2 podium places. And then Miles just gotten past Esso for 5th. We'll see if the Alfa Romeo man can keep up with Mile, as we now have 7 laps to go in this race. Well, so I'm guessing Esso made a mistake through the Maggins and Beckett section, which allowed Mile to sneak through. And so he didn't get the best run through there either. I don't think S.A. Smith got DRS this time around, which is not going to be good, but we also see Mile encroaching back up to that 1 second mark, which is going to pull Esso back in as well. So things changing, but also remaining about the same. S.A. Smith, you can see he's struggling through the opening time. VTEC is in for a fresh set of softs, so we'll have to see if he can make the most of those tires. We'll come back out in 12th position. Here's S.C. Smith. I think he's going to be just a bit too far back here. But Esso does get past Mile once again, so trading positions there. And they've not been able to close back up in time. To join up with this fight. I see Smith going purple that last time around. We'll have to see. This is where he's been losing all his time to Banshee. If he manages to keep it close through the section, I think he's going to have an opportunity to make a pass into Brooklands. He's just about dropped Ray behind him from the DRS. He's been closer here than has been for the last few laps. And he has indeed dropped Ray, which is absolutely crucial. Mile looking to get to the back of Esso. Not close enough that time around. I'll have to wait for the next lap. Switch over to the penalties here, considering everybody's on very similar tires. Smith has still got plenty of time left, but he's just got to get the best run through. He's got a much better run through Beckett than Banshee. He might have an opportunity this time. He's well closer than he has been. Banshee taking the inside line. I think he might have just enough straight. Banshee doing a nice job of defending the position. He's going to hang on to second place. Mile was not able to get past on Esso. VTech within the DRS range of K-Dog as well. He's going to have that place on penalties regardless. But we'll see if he can find a way through. Back up to the front of the field. Still the same as it has been. Ray, the only one without penalties. He's just going to want to sit in that gap. He's set to move up to the podium places at the moment. K-Dog and VTech having a bit of a scrap through Maggots and Beckett's. VTech was ahead for a split second. But here's Mile and Esso going side by side to Brooklyn's with a nice move there by the Ferrari driver, and he's gotten around once again for 5th place. These two have been scrapping for a long time. Esso picking up another time bonus, so that would put those two on level terms. Also gives Ray more cushion ahead. Once again going down towards Stowe. These guys have not been able to make any inroads on Shelley ahead, as we've seen for the last nearly 10 laps now. It's been constant at about 5.5 seconds, which has got to be frustrating. Nobody close enough at any of these battles to make a move, although VTech looking to the outside of Brooklyn's. I think he's going to have that move. So VTech up into 11th. He's got Spaceman about 5.5 seconds up the road, so he should be online for a possible top 10. See how quickly he can close that gap. SC Smith, he needs to line up his exit here to have a good run. I think Banshee's going to be just enough ahead. Same for this battle. Esso not going to be close enough. But Ray has started to creep back into this fight. And he's going to be well within penalty window range for what should be another good result for him. They actually picking up another penalty, which is exactly what ST Smith wants. So he doesn't have to get through him if he doesn't want to. He's just got to keep himself on 3 seconds. I think he's going to have him this time. Banshee taking the defensive line once again. SC Smith around the outside. Bruce Stowe. They're still side by side. Oh, there's contact. And Smith has gone for a bit of a spin. He's managed to correct it and he's come back out in 6th. But that was a tight section where it would be difficult to fit 2 cars, and you can see exactly why. Now he should be able to regain those positions, but that was a very tricky situation. Luckily he's got the penalty advantage, so he's still in line for a 4th place finish. But not exactly what he would have wanted. So just 4 laps to go now in this British Grand Prix. Esso and Mile, these guys are level on terms, but they're both on track to lose. So this is to lose a place. So this is really the battle for 5th. Esso running a bit wide through there. We'll see if he can maximize his run through the S's. Got a bit of a better exit, but I don't know if it'll be enough. You can see Mile, he's all out of battery. Esso looking to the outside. We've seen a few moves done through here, but it's a very tricky spot to do it. And Mile hangs on for the time being. Beautiful driving by these two. And so we'll wait for the next opportunity. It's the outside of Stowe. It's It looks enticing, but it's very difficult to pull off, as we've seen. That looked like a corner cutting warning right there, which is not going to be ideal for Esso. But still 3 laps to go in this race. Nobody's been able to touch Shelly the Turtle ever since the switch over from intermediates to dries. And he now finds himself in a comfortable position. Although if he were to pick up another penalty, it would allow Ray to sneak into the window for a race win. And he's actually closing up to the back of Banshee, which could be crucial as we get towards the final couple of laps. Oh, and there's more penalties for Esso and Mile. They've been within 1 second of each other ever since the lights went out to start this race. They're starting to close back up to Ray and Banshee, who've actually made some significant inroads on Shelly. So perhaps a mistake from Shelly through the middle sector. Esso and Mile side by side once again. But Mile is again able to hold off with the inside line through Stowe, which has proven to be very powerful. And now these guys aren't careful. They're going to start to fall into the clutches of Chris Money behind, who might find himself within a window for 5th place. Just 2 laps to go now. Now we've got to track Ray. He's only 4.3 seconds off of Shelly, who has that 3-second time penalty. So 1.3 seconds is the actual gap between Ray and Shelly ahead. And they seem to be closing up more and more. So I'm not sure if Shelly's had a bit of an issue or what's going on there, but this could be absolutely massive. And Ray's going to have the benefit of DRS from Banshee. And now the gap is down to 4 seconds. So we'll stick with this top 3 as we approach the final lap of the Grand Prix. Look at this, the gap within the interval within 4 seconds now. This race is not over, everyone. Esso again looking for a move on Mile, but he hasn't found a way through just yet. He's going to have to hold off for the next opportunity. So Shelly has led just about every single lap of this race. And now he finds himself within striking distance of Ray. Now on the final lap of the race. If Ray can get by Silent Banshee, he might have a threat. Or he might be a threat to Shelly. Although their march forward seems to have stalled out. And the gap is still 4.4 seconds. So it's going to have one more chance to get past Mile, which is going to be at Stowe Corner. He has not been able to do it so far. But here's Ray, the race winner a few weeks ago in Portimao. This is another great opportunity. He's on track for 2nd place, but he's going to want to see if he can make that anymore. He's going to have an awful great 3rd sector, or hope for a mistake from Shelly, who's been almost perfect so far today. Down the hanger straight for the final time. Banshee having a fantastic drive. Going to finish 2nd place on track, but unfortunately those penalties are going to drop him. Here's Esso up to the back of Mile. Not going to be close enough to the race lead. It's going to be Shelly the Turtle who's going to take it home in a very dominating fashion. So Shelly the Turtle wins the Tier 2 British Grand Prix. Here comes Banshee. He's going to cross the line 2nd, but that position is going to go to Ray. S.C. Smith picking up a time penalty right at the end. He's still going to manage to jump up into 4th. So good result from there. Mile hangs on to 5th. Esso is 6th. Chris Money, I think, is going to be just a bit too far back. Gains 7th, just ahead of his McLaren teammate who finishes 8th. That's going to be a while back to both Williams, who will round out the top 10. So a solid day for them. So Shelly the Turtle is going to make up some significant points tonight, which is going to be huge for the championship. Now through the final corner, Johnny will finally finish in 9th place. Spaceman still on that set of hearts. He's actually got K-Dog directly behind him. She's got that extra 3 seconds of penalties though, so it's not going to make a difference. Spaceman will cross the line and finish 10th, K-Dog 11th, and VTech will round out the field in 12th, Krusty T 13th. That brings us to the end of the Tier 2 British Grand Prix. Fantastic from start to finish, lots of battles up and down. And with Shelly the Turtle bringing home the race victory. So we'll take a quick look at the final results. Shelly the Turtle wins the race. Ray comes home in 2nd. Banshee is 3rd. SC Smith 4th. Mile finishing 5th. SO in 6th. A strong run for him. Chris Money 7th, ahead of his McLaren teammate Skadster in 8th. Then come the Williams of Johnny and Spaceman, rounding out the top 10. VTech finishes 11th. He does jump K-Dog on penalties right at the death. Krusty T 13th, and Monkey Mafia, Limcheck, and Kraz DNFing from this race. That is it for the Tier 2 broadcast tonight. We'll catch you for Tier 1 in a few minutes.